Any Good Thing, proudly supported by Bashwinger Insurance Agency, 42 Cornell Street, Amsterdam, New York.
Hello, and welcome to Any Good Thing, Episode 12, written by Jay Town, with a contribution from Tracy Clemish and every cast member. Special thanks to Town Foster from Spinnaker Productions on sound and Glenn Trascos on sound effects. Today we are taping in the Creative Connections Arts Center in lovely Amsterdam, New York.
In our last episode, Derek went a little manic due to one of his medicines, while his family and Charity tried hard to cope. Derek asked Charity to marry him in a fit of mania, and she simply walked out on him during their 6-month anniversary dinner. We see her at home that night in a rage. She paces back and forth in her living room and contemplates swearing.
I can't believe that idiot! Who does he think he is? I told him! How dare he ruin everything like that? Why? Because he is so hard-headed and stubborn? He thinks he knows best? Where does he get that from? Not me, certainly. Actually, he may have gotten that from me. Oh.
She plops down on her couch and sits motionless.
Mom, I feel so terrible. He made me feel so terrible. So common. You know, it was never my plan to be proposed to by a mentally deranged person in the middle of a restaurant with daffodils involved. I know you know what I mean. Yes, I do think I could love him, at least starting to. Then he had to ruin it with his... No, I said I feel for him, but not when he is like that. I guess you have a point. I should love him at all times, in all situations, even if they are senseless and stupid and hurtful. I may or may not love this man, but you forget who you are talking to. I may or may not accept him, but he will not get away with this.
Charity sits back on the couch, turns her head and stares out the window. Suddenly, Charity's phone rings. She pulls out the phone and checks the caller ID. It is Derek, but she doesn't answer.
Not today, man. Not today.
She switches off her ringer, puts the phone back in her pocket, and relaxes on the couch. Derek puts his phone away. The bus stops and lets on a tall young woman who sits down across the aisle from him. He notices her sitting alone and does nothing. He sits in silence, the remaining distance to his stop, fingering the box in his coat pocket, and gets out, finally, feeling ashamed and guilty. He talks to God on the walk to his apartment.
Why did she have to do it that way, walking out like that? She could have said something like, gee, I don't know, honey, it's a big step. Or, not before you calm down a bit, honey. Either way, she didn't have to say nothing. That's just plain hurtful. I know, she's not entirely at fault. I am, right? I mean, I shouldn't have approached her in that way, with my mind being messed up. Why would I think that someone like her would be swayed by someone like me?
He reaches his door, enters, but continues his conversation.
I know. I'm perfect, right? Well, I'm not. Now, what to do? She won't answer. Just let it go, I guess. Still, if I can think this through...
Charity calls her best friend Elena, even though Elena is in the Caribbean.
Yeah? Elena, I didn't think I would get you.
Well, you did. What's up?
Oh, I'm so mad. Where to start?
It must be severe for you to call me here. Out with it.
Derek was high on a medicine. Not high, just manic. He didn't get treatment. He proposed to me in the most...
He did what?
He proposed in a most mental of ways, saying he loves me now and he'll love me forever stuff.
Wow. Didn't see that coming. Did he mean it? Was he sincere?
I guess so. I couldn't pay attention. That with his mania.
If he wasn't sincere, you can dismiss him. But if he was, then you have to reconsider your initial reaction.
Leave it up to you to find some contrarian argument to throw at me.
It's what you pay me for. Listen, at first you knew I was opposed to your union. But he did sort of grow on me. And looking at the way he treated you, and when you had your operation, was truth to me. That at least he cares for you. I don't know about love, though.
It sounded like he was so sure. But how sure can you be after only 6 months?
Some people are. The question is, what will you do with his certainty? And will your response reflect your own uncertainty? Food for thought.
I don't know if you helped, yet.
Come on, I always help. You know it.
Yeah, I guess. Thanks.
That was Charity.
Charity hangs up and ponders. Derek phones Charity for the last time before bed, but gets no answer. He sits on his couch, picks up his Bible, and reads.
Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful. It is not arrogant or rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrong, but rejoices in the right. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. So I see my love is not love at all. It's need. God, I'm so sorry and so embarrassed.
He closes and puts his Bible away, then goes to bed. He tosses and turns all night, sleeping fitfully, only to be awakened early the next morning by the phone.
Hello? Charity?
No, not today. Listen, Derek, Mom is ready, and we will pick you up in 45 minutes and treat you to breakfast. Then you can fill us in on your evening.
Okay, 45.
Don't roll over and go back to sleep. Be ready.
Fine.
He hangs up and looks at his clock.
45?
Derek gets ready, and he gets up and gets ready, and he sits down on his couch to wait. He looks at his Bible.
Love does not insist on its own way. You would think that with all my studying, I would remember and implement more truths. I don't know where I thought I was with her. Sorry, God. Mom awaits.
His mom's van pulls up, and Derek hops in and grabs her hand.
Hi, son. How are you doing?
Fine. You?
Okay, but this riding in the back in my chair is for the birds.
You would think that after 2 years you'd get used to it.
No, and there's no use talking about it anymore.
How about your big night last night, Derek?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Oh, come on. What could be so bad?
Yeah, spill it.
I was obnoxious and insulting, and I asked her to marry me in a haze of med-induced mania.
You did what?
Did you do anything else?
I think that was quite enough, don't you think?
I said hold on to her. I didn't mean this fast. Did you tell her you loved her?
Yes.
Honey, look at me. Did you mean it when you said that?
Yes. I felt it, but...
And you have been dating for 6 months only?
Yes.
Well, don't beat yourself up over it, son.
No woman wants to hear I love you at 6 months. John told me at 9 months.
And look where that got you.
Not fair, Mom, not fair.
I thought I knew.
Some people just know. You might have been right last night, and now this naysaying has gotten into your head and you're doubting yourself. But son, knowing your convictions and inappropriately expressing them are two different things entirely.
Yes, and you said it how?
I said I loved her now. I'll love her forever. Then I gave her a ring.
You gave her a ring?
Mom!
Sorry.
Where did you get the ring?
Downtown Jewelers.
Derek, you put her on the spot. You declared your love. Then you cornered her.
How is that not how things are done?
No, son. Think things through first. Talk. Get a feel of her state of mind. Then dinner, a movie, a moonlight walk. Don't confront. Don't scare. Talk to her. Then, when probability is high, then ask her if that's still what you want.
If this is a lifelong proposition, this co-joining you seek, then it must be a marriage based on agreements in principle, in philosophy, spirituality, faith, as well as a desire to spend the remainder of your life yoked to the other in all aspects, through thick and thin, never wavering in affection and support, helping and being helped. And even then, it might not work out.
Speak for yourself. Honey, I think you probably didn't think this one through. Maybe some more contemplation would ease your mind. When will you see her next?
I don't know. She won't answer the phone.
What if one of us calls her?
No, I'll handle it. Thanks for all your help, but I'll take it from here.
We're here. Be thoughtful. I know you will. You can let us know more later.
Right now, pancakes.
They arrive at the diner, enter, take their seats, and order.
Thanks, Mom, Caroline.
You're welcome, son. Now, I want to know in what way you alienated such a wonderful girl. I know you were manic and all, but...
I was manic. I guess I must have seemed like I was berserk, I guess.
You guess? Either you were or weren't. You would know, wouldn't you?
Not necessarily. Listen, son, did you insult her? how do you say, her id, her psyche, her sentiments?
I guess I must have.
Well, that's no good. Listen, women don't want hassles. We have enough internally without men adding any stress. You tell him, Caroline.
If you were trying to get her to see your feelings, it's always better if you show first, tell later.
I bought her flowers, daffodils.
That's nice on any given day, but not enough. Sometimes a kindness shown, a thoughtful give and take discussion make all the difference. Did you do that?
Some of that.
I know you must have, son. Then consistency may be what you lack. It's a full-time job being with a woman. We are complex creatures, and you may not have picked the right moment to propose. Thought of that?
Yeah, definitely.
The food arrives.
You'll have to tell us more when we're done. Nothing gets between Ma and our pancakes.
Hush up, you, and eat.
They ride back from the diner, and Derek tells his mother and sister about his medical plans.
No, I go on Monday to the doctor, my shrink, and hopefully, no, definitely, he'll adjust my meds and do away with this one that is causing the disruption.
Good.
Then you'll replace it with another antidepressant? Oh, wait, you won't know until you see him.
Right. I don't want to try any more drugs for now. Not the way I feel.
I don't blame you. Okay, here we are. Remember, we are always available, so trouble us.
She hugs Derek. He exits the van and gets in the back where his mother sits. He hugs her.
Thanks. You keep us informed. You hear? No more girlfriend calls to alert us.
She may not be, past today.
Oh, stop that. Think positive. Is it something you want?
Yes.
Have you called her lately?
Yes, multiple times. She doesn't answer.
Give her some time. She is a woman, after all.
She is a person, after all. And Caroline is right. Give her some space. She'll either run to you or away. Either way, God's will be done. Do you believe this?
Yes, ma'am.
Then keep busy with your own stuff till she comes around. You are my boy, and I love you.
She kisses him on the forehead.
Go on. Be brave.
Thanks, Ma. Bye, Caroline.
Love you, Derek.
Charity sleeps in, then finally gets up and makes herself some lunch. She again calls Elena.
Hello, Elena.
Yes, Charity.
Thanks for answering. What are you doing?
Relaxing on a hot beach with a hot man. My fantastic husband. But that's not why you called, is it?
No, thanks. When we talked last, did you say I should be kind to Derek? Because right now I am far from it.
Listen, Charity, you can be whatever you want, but at the end of the day, kindness and understanding will be your best solution. Right now you are hurt and offended, but this too shall pass, and you want the best of you to come out to find a reasonable solution, and then...
A moral high ground with which to proceed after the solution is reached. Yeah, I should know these things.
You already do, Charity. You are God-formed, and he watches over you in all you do. You know this as well.
Don't preach to me. You know what I believe and what I don't.
Yes, but maybe it's time to evolve. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you for that. And thank you for your sage advice. Enjoy the sun. Don't let it get to your head.
Oh, I will, darling, I will.
She hangs up her phone and contemplates her next move. She contemplates calling her mother, but defers and starts to dial Derek. She hangs up before completing the call and sits there on her couch, phone still in hand. Later that night, Derek reads and contemplates 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5.
Love is never rude and never seeks its own advantage. I'm not going to say this twice, how I am so far from perfection, but I don't think I have to be perfect to adhere to this. This is common everyday emotion, and I fear for myself if I can't accept this. Hello?
Derek, I'm not going to talk tonight. I just wanted to arrange to talk tomorrow. It's long overdue. Tomorrow, afternoon, about 1?
That would be fine.
Good. My house then. Good night.
Good night.
Derek hangs up, sinks down into his couch, and looks up. In the morning, Derek gets up, showers, and heads to the church for Mass. After the service, Derek leaves the church and walks through the park, looking for her friend Sandra. But she is nowhere to be found. Charity stares at the phone and decides not to call Marisol.
What would I say?
Derek makes his way towards Charity's house, talking to God on the way.
I know I need to say I'm sorry. I know to not be crazy. I know to present logical solutions to our problems. But what I don't know is how successful I will be with her. And should I know? It's in the trying, right, God? I hope you are certain. No, I know you are. So I will try.
At 1 o'clock sharp, Derek approaches Charity's door and knocks. And waits. Suddenly,
Hi, Derek. Sorry to keep you waiting. Come in.
they enter and take opposite sides of the living room.
How are you?
Fine.
Fine? Are you sure?
No, I'm not fine. I'm...
Before you start in with whatever, I am not fine either. And I'll tell you why. I have endured a lot in life, from personal attacks to personal failures, dear ones' deaths. I have also suffered greatly from attachments to the wrong sort of people, and I still bear the scars, you know well, and I can only take so much pain and disappointment at the hands of those I love before I start to act just like them, and that is something I will never allow. But you with so much promise, so much available power and wisdom, how dare you disappoint me? You came in on our anniversary. An anniversary! And you tried to entice me with your manic display of affection after failing utterly to get the help you needed from your doctor. A pathetic showing of concern for what? My welfare? Really?
Charity?
Derek, I'm just getting started. Who are you to set me up for an emotional fall when I was feeling good about our chances for happiness together and feeling hope for our future? When you decide to mess it all up by asking something you weren't ready for nor could sustain.
I made a mistake.
Really, Derek? Was the mistake you made in asking for something, what was it, my hand in marriage, when you couldn't provide a future for us both, emotionally, physically, mentally, fiscally? Or was it the mistake in asking the wrong woman?
I thought I loved you.
And you don't, do you? You are in love with me only. Do you see only a meal ticket?
Of course not.
No, of course not. You see things clearly, don't you? Well, you don't see how I could possibly be offended by your little proposal, or your lack of insight into why. All my life, despite my better judgment, and always in the back of my mind, I wondered what the perfect day my wedding would be. And I've already had that perfect day with somebody else, and look how that turned out. So it wasn't on my radar with you, because I knew you could not sustain the effort that a relationship with me requires. No way. I just didn't see it, but I tried, and now this. How many hits do you think we can take, Derek, before we collapse?
I'm sorry for embarrassing you.
Embarrassed? Is that what you think I am? I think the only one embarrassed is you. You act like I want to hear your apologies. I don't. I want you to understand how insulted I am, how inwardly humiliated I am that I trusted you. You saw how I was feeling attached to you, and you pounced on me like a lion on a lamb. A proposal is a wish wrapped in a promise. And if you can't fulfill that promise, then you should never have offered it.
I was feeling better, we were doing better, and I wanted the chance to show the depth of emotion I had for you.
So you chose to show me your affection and commitment with a poorly thought out, poorly planned attempt to enlist me into a ride of the century with you and your emotions? Do you know what emotion and feelings are? Changeable, capricious, in short, not to be trusted. If I say I love you, Derek, it's founded on what is something you'd understand.
Not appropriate.
Fine. It's just that you've shown an appalling lack of common sense in your life that no current progress can override. Derek, love is more than a happy feeling in your chest. It's that and more. It's a principle that guides emotion. It shows itself in acceptance, in appreciation, in fidelity, in allowance for joy, in perseverance, in faith, in hope, in love. Your Bible says love never ends, and it doesn't. I'm surprised you don't know this further.
I do know love, and I don't. That is, I know it imperfectly through the Word of God, through my family, through being with the few women I have.
I have known since the moment we met that you were imperfect, and it was charming for a while, but I had expectations that you would progress past the roadblocks in your way.
And I have.
Mostly. But you upped the ante with your proposal and dragged all my expectations to the forefront. And you never want to do that to me, because you'll lose every time. And I expected great things from you. When I married Steve, my first husband, he was fine for years. I had no complaints. Then, when he cheated on me, my life was shattered. Then when Bill tried to kill me...
Don't you dare put me in the same category as Bill.
Fine. Fair enough. Both times, my expectations hurt me. So I have a short fuse for disappointment these days, and I am a keen discerner of character and intent. Your intent is good, but your character, as far as judgment goes, is in question. So I don't think I can allow you to be my partner. Not yet.
So I don't suit you anymore? Is that it?
No, Derek. It's just that you're too erratic, too self-centered. That is, you wrap yourself around your disabilities and you use them as an excuse not to progress. And I can't abide by that anymore.
So what are you saying? Break up?
You are far too valuable just to cut out. So yes, break up. But I would like you to be my friend for a while, until we figure this out.
For a while?
However long it takes. I just want to look at my expectations and these events in an objective light, to see what we can see.
Fine.
Fine.
I'll see my way out then.
Derek gets up to go.
Hug?
He hugs her lightly. She walks with him to the door. Then he exits. Derek walks to the end of her driveway and braces himself on her white picket fence and starts to cry. Charity watches from her kitchen window, but stops short of going out to him. He makes it home and goes right to bed. The next morning, he drags himself through his morning routine on his way to his appointment with Dr. Lowry, his psychiatrist. He talks with God as he walks through the park.
I'm so sorry, God, for acting like that. You know that. She didn't give me a word in edgewise. I never stated my case, never objected, didn't hardly contribute. I didn't do what you told me to do. It's not that entirely, but you know what path to take. I will trust in you and not fear.
He reaches the doctor's office, goes in, and seats himself in the waiting room. He looks around at the other patients. He whispers to God.
God, I thank you that I am not as bad as I could be.
Derek?
Derek enters the office, and they begin.
Well, Derek, I got a message late yesterday that you had a little trouble over the weekend, something about mania.
Yesterday? I called Friday.
You initially called on Friday about your appointment, then called again yesterday evening, leaving a non-specific message. I was still out of state last night. I flew in this morning. Are you upset about this?
No, I guess not.
Let's talk about your overdose.
No overdose. I took the dose you prescribed for me on your script.
I'm sorry for that. What are your symptoms?
Running, racing thoughts, rambling speech, poor judgment.
In what way was there poor judgment?
I proposed to my girlfriend of 6 months in a hypermanic state, and she said no and broke up with me on Sunday.
Well, Derek, have you stopped the med?
Yes, late Friday night.
Would you like to try another medicine in place of it? Another antidepressant?
No, thanks. I don't need to be happy-peppy all the time. I'll let God and nature do it for me.
Okay. Then, if that's your decision, I think we should stop all of the antidepressant and continue to monitor your progress over the next week. If you can just come in on Friday, this coming Friday, so we can check your function.
Sure.
I have observed you since you came in, and I've noticed your speech and your mannerisms, your twitches, for instance. When did you first notice these things happening to you?
Last Wednesday. I just thought I was super energized and that the pills were working. I thought it was cool that I was getting so much done, and I was feeling joy, until I noticed the downside. Last Thursday and Friday were the worst. I impulsively bought a ring for Charity.
An engagement ring?
Yes, and I asked her at our 6-month anniversary party at our favorite restaurant. I even bought flowers, daffodils.
Was the ring expensive?
Under $1,200. And she walked out on me. At the restaurant, just walked out without a word.
Oh, I see.
What kind of woman does that?
Derek, you probably aren't telling me the whole story, right?
No, we met yesterday and we agreed to break up.
I see. You had a busy weekend.
Yes. Our breakup is conditional. I mean, we're still going to be friends. She wants to be objective about it all.
So there are really no conditions. It's just a traditional breakup. You both part ways and see each other casually thereafter, right?
I guess that's right.
And how do you feel about that arrangement?
I don't like it, obviously. I really thought or felt like I loved her, still love her, but I am confused by all the conflicting emotions that I feel.
Like what?
Like the love, the fear of being alone again. I resent her for not understanding me and my illness or condition.
As if she had a responsibility to constantly ignore your actions in the cause of love?
What are you saying, doctor?
Sometimes when two people come together, Each has their own desires for the relationship and the consequent expectations. And invariably, one or the other of the partners will have to amend or ignore their individual desires for the good of the relationship. I say good in that way because it's not always good for the relationship, especially when one partner absorbs the activity of the other all of the time unequally. If one partner fails the other repeatedly, unequally, the other will reach a tipping point where they tire of giving with no return, and they may throw off the offending partner until that partner reaches more of a balance. Do you follow that?
Yes, but we were doing fine. That's why I thought I could do it. It doesn't matter. Not now.
Why do you say that? Relationships are fluid. There's a rhythm and a modulation to them. Didn't she say that she still wanted to be friends?
Yes.
Anytime someone in her situation says she still wants contact, that means...
What do you mean, her situation?
Derek, what would you say your role has been in your relationship with Charity?
Partner.
Have things always been equal as far as the affection, disappointments, contributions?
No, not always. I am affected, you know. She would need to adjust to that, and I thought she had.
If she took on the role of caregiver, that brings on issues of dependency, which would be detrimental to the relationship, even in small doses.
I wasn't depending on her for anything. I had my own money, my own place, my own car. I think there must have been some resentment on her part that I was disappointing her with my thought life or actions. I don't know.
Did you talk with her about this?
Not until we broke up. And then it was more of a lecture. No, that's not fair. She obviously felt strongly about it, the disappointment, and had lots to say, just not before now.
How are you feeling now, Derek?
I'm sad, ashamed, at a loss. I too had hopes. Now they are slipping away.
But they are not yet gone.
No, not totally.
That's good.
She says she still wants to be friends for what it's worth. I guess that's okay.
That's better than okay.
She said she can't abide my poor judgment and other character flaws, so she wants this time to figure things out.
It sounds like she is as confused as you are.
She sounded pretty certain while she was laying into me.
Maybe you need time to straighten out your own life, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Time to heal from your disappointment. Time to heal your inner mind. Express, explore, and examine your life and your progress since the accident, right? How often do you do that?
Every day.
Oh, well, do that. And while you are doing the introspective stuff, go out and do something, anything. Get some sunshine. You said you like to walk in the park.
Yes, I did, but walking makes me think, and thinking makes me sad. Except I do have a friend in the park.
Friends are good. So do the more important stuff and save time just for you to relax and enjoy at doing.
I think I will.
And Derek, this breakup is a chance to get your mind set for the future, with or without Charity. Take it and use it well, but do not recommit until you are ready. And by all means, avoid any more entanglements of any kind. I fear that if you get involved in any way with anyone without knowing yourself better, it could be detrimental to your recovery. Understand?
I think I do.
Take the time, Derek, for yourself. Speaking of time, can I arrange for a next Friday visit with a blood test?
Derek leaves Dr. Lowry's office and walks toward downtown. He then heads to the park looking for Sandra, his bird-feeding friend.
God, I want to tell you something. Thank you for this day, this past week, this life which you have given me. I know that this circumstance I am in now is, not entirely, but mostly of my own choosing. So I will accept what I have to and learn from my mistakes, okay?
He walks a short distance and spots his friend sitting on her bench with a sea of birds at her feet. He walks over to her and says,
Boy, have I a story for you.
What did you do? Rob a bank?
Better. I almost got engaged.
A whopper, huh? Sit. This should be good.
Thank you for joining us on our 2 years anniversary show. Please tune in again. The cast for episode 12 includes Jessica O'Connell as Charity Rodriguez, John Salerno as Derek Hughes, Cheryl Charbonneau as Miriam Hughes, Laura Lee Whitlock as Caroline Peterson, Ken Major as Dr. Lowry, Barbara Nesnick as Elena Hutchins, Dorothy Demkowski as Sandra, Homer Charbonneau as the narrator. Special music by John Mastromoro.